this is Surya Saha, the author of The Digital Choices, and you're listening to the Insurtech Story podcast, the platform to spread knowledge on insurance innovation, digital disruption, and entrepreneurship. Our website, insurtechstory.com, and we are available on Spotify, Apple, and Google. Welcome to today's show, where we will discuss on the topic how insurance distribution can evolve in a digital world. And for now, I'm delighted to welcome our guest, Yashish Sampat, who is the Senior Vice President for Affinity and Association Business at Edelweiss Insurance Division. And he has more than 18 years of experience in the insurance profession. Yashish is a fellow of the Insurance Institute of India, a chartered insurance broker, and AC2 holder with the Chartered Insurance Institute. He has played extensive role in mentoring young professionals in pursuing education as well as advancement of their career. He is a well-known face in the insurance industry in India. Yashish is a regular speaker at various business forums in India as well as overseas, and also teaches at various educational institutions. His initiatives at work have influenced many people to get various insurance solutions, and he continues to do the same. So, Yashish, welcome on board, and I'm truly excited to have you for this show.
Thank you very much, Surya, for inviting. Just to correct to itself, I head the affinity and association business at Edelweiss Gallagher Insurance Brokers for the India division.
Right, Yashish. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, welcome on board again.
Yep, it is really exciting to have a conversation with you on a very relevant topics which are there for the industry.
Um, Yashish, I would just like to start by saying, uh, we all are quite aware that the physical sales force and intermediaries are responsible for the majority of insurance distribution across geographies and line of businesses. While the share of business conducted via these channels has been shifting during the past decade as some customers migrate online, they remain the primary channels across life and even in commercial and personal lines of property and casualty. But continued physical distancing is having dramatic and immediate impacts on this insurance distribution aspect, which we are witnessing at present scenario. So with this, let me move on to ask, how do you see these changing towards a self-service driven model where client demands for self-service in the current environment is only getting accelerated, which is eventually giving importance to digital? What would be your take on it?
See, the word self-service itself means a lot, and
Right.
predominantly in an Indian market, right? We are not that accustomed to be having a self-service in any walks of our life, right? We are still dependent on multiple aspects, on multiple stakeholders to, sail us through to the next milestones in our journeys. And same is the case applicable, in my opinion, for predominantly retail insurance distribution while we talk for Indian market. The reason being why I would like to say this is that in India, a consumer has bought these products over last so many decades in terms of a physical visibility to somebody who has been always there for him, right from advising, right from filling up the forms, or to getting the claim settled. And when we talk about the self-service mode, it is slowly evolving in especially the millennial sectors or the population who are too much tech savvy, but still a bulk of the business into the retail lines of business is still done offline. So while the need of the hour, the demand of the market is to go on a self-service mode where at a click of a button I may buy a product, but to experience that product, to get the claims and all will have its own time to evolve into it. And maybe then we may be in a scenario wherein we'll be able to say that yes, Indian market has geared up to the self-service mode fairly well.
Right. I just wanted to just a self curiosity. what, according to you, would be the prerequisite of, when we say digital strategy for insurance distribution, especially in the Indian market, if you have to look at?
The key requisites would be to make the buying experience and the knowledge sharing very simple, right? And especially in the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities where the need is also increasing, people are still not into that league that they are able to sail through the product buying in minutes. Although we all claim that we'll be having a buying experience which will be phenomenal, right? To answer to your question specifically, for a push which is required, people have to have more like OTC, simple click of a button, 3 steps, 4 steps products. And what would require is different stakeholders from the regulatory side, from the insurer side, from the intermediary side, and from the consumer side eventually to come forward and create curated products for pushing up the sales. And if that is done, my opinion will be able to, you know, achieve the objectives of going one step further, of making insurance distribution very easy and very simple for common man to come and buy the product.
No, absolutely. Particularly from an Indian context, we as a consumer are also very much interested in having a policy which is more, you know, easily understood. So the key word, as you said, is simplified insurance. So that is what actually we would definitely, especially the millennials, are looking at. That's a very good point raised there, Yasesh. In continuation to the above, even when we see the shift towards self-service driven model as we discussed, do you think this will support a better customer service and even agent satisfaction?
It
So we are,
will, but
yeah.
in my opinion, I see somewhat like a threat also to
Hmm.
the agent when we go via the self-service model,
Right.
because insurance business predominantly of the agency channel in India has been offline, but for the recent in last 3 to 4 years, the transformation of agents to the POS partners in India for the brokers. But still, an agent when he looks that technology is making the job very simple for his existing and the prospective customers to buy the product, he will look to it in a pros as well as in cons, right? The
Hmm.
pros are that he is able to push the sales, he is able to push the sales as well as at the point of time that when a consumer is buying it,
Hmm.
the product technologically, he will look to it as a threat that what if tomorrow I am accessing and giving an access, sorry, to the consumer to log on to a portal of the insurer. He may just go direct and have a differential pricing, right? And there are products in the market where a consumer is given an option that whether he wants an agent or whether he wants to have a direct policy. So somewhat, and insurers also have to come forward and make that intermediary protection clause more effective, right? That if,
Hmm.
say, take a scenario, Surya as a consumer has been connected by me to an insurer A. Now, tomorrow, to the same insurer, if Surya goes to buy any other product, the insurer should try to protect my interests because it is I who made Surya marry to that insurer, right, for that insurance transaction. And if that sort of a confidence and trust building can be given to the agent, the self-service mode which we are talking will be far, far more again effective for the agency channel.
Right. No, absolutely. We are also increasingly seeing some sort of an integrated platforms that are coming along even for distributors, and particularly for the benefit of insurance distribution. And the changing customer expectations, their behaviors due to the rapid transformation, which is also in a way pushing insurance providers to collaborate with other players and build channels where they can engage with consumers in a very, very, very different, unique, and new ways as we have never witnessed earlier. So there definitely going to be a shift, as you mentioned. But besides that, is there any other areas that you, according based on your experiences and observation, uh, what what would you say, particularly from an insurtech angle, how the transformation can be more rapid and robust?
See, the regulator and the ecosystem in India is doing everything possible to push the insurtech to the next level, right?
Right.
And of late, the push in the sales of in last 15 to 18 months from the time pandemic has hit us all has been extremely effective as far as retail insurances are concerned through the tech way, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Intermediaries, insurance companies, public sector, as well as private, all have evolved beautifully. And at the click of a button, we are able to buy their products. We are able to have our claims also being settled on a soft copies and so on, right? To answer to your question more effectively, I would say that the push in the insurtech will come forward where the technology, the API kits, which are so necessary for the distributing partners in India, to be made far more simple. The insurance sector, that is the insurance companies, have to come forward with far more quicker APIs, quicker integrations. And if that turnaround time of API integration and moving of all the products which are available in the retail side to the business are available on a tech way, I think we'll be able to have a far more conducive win-win insurtech world in an Indian market.
Right. You mentioned there about the regulators. So, from the insurtech angle and from a global comparison in India, is there any gap from the regulatory part that you think can could have been done better for the future?
No, rather, I would say the regulator in last few years have been very, very effective in, allowing products to be sold very quicker. You had digital proposal forms. Regulator in last 1 year has allowed the policy document to be available in the digi lockers
True.
and all
True.
necessary things for tech-savvy India in
Hmm.
line with the vision of our PM, right? Which he has
Right.
done it in last few years is getting aligned to do it. I would say it is more on the entire ecosystem and the all stakeholders who are
Hmm.
relevant to this business need to come forward. Maybe that can involve the IBI, the agents associations, the insurance companies, the TPS, right?
Right.
All coming
Right.
in together and talking that these are my phase one milestones which I want to achieve by October, November, December. These are my phase two milestones which I want to achieve before the year ends so that the numbers go up. And this is what I want to have a wish list ecosystem of tech in India by 2022-23.
No, no, absolutely. Collaboration coming together is the way ahead on how we actually address the emerging technology gaps. And the national strategy for blockchain, which India has proposed, I think I would really hope to see some sort of developments and involvements from traditional insurers as well as the insurtech community to come forward and contribute on that. So it's
In
the
fact,
yeah.
you are have been a very avid techno-savvy professional in India, and I'm sure even your thoughts, which I've been hearing over so many podcasts, which you have been interacting with different stakeholders, where
Right.
also somewhere you have highlighted about this aspect of scaling up the business. And I
Right.
can give one very classic example: the way traditionally motor insurance used to operate in an Indian market, where for a simple break in insurance till the time a physical surveyor does not go, the customer wasn't getting his insurance cover effective. Now we have technology which is so effective that a consumer at the click of his button on his mobile is able to get the vehicle inspected, share the photographs, share the reports. You have tech providers in India who provide this facility to insurers as far as their risk inspection, risk management is concerned about the vehicle, right? and
Right.
validating it for insurers' effective utilization, through which the effective sales of motor insurance has definitely moved up in last few years. Of course, the regulatory and the RTOs and the cops have made it far more effective, where your motor insurance is very mandatory in their effective checkings, in their patrollings, where they have asked insurances. But even this, as one of the rapid development which has happened in India, has gone in increasing the motor sales insurance as far as insurance
Mhm.
is concerned.
No, absolutely. We normally speak about or hear about product innovation whenever we are trying to bring in the aspect of digital technologies. But as you said, when we normally try to focus on scaling the business, apart from product innovation, there are three key areas where, as an insurer and of course other important players in the value chain, we must focus on the key areas which actually would drive such change. And one of them is certainly the modernization of distribution channels. And besides that, I would also mention about digitizing the underwriting and renewals process, and even and also the investment and cash management part. So overall, I think there are certain pillars that would actually help the ecosystem to build, or rather to get the foundation strong before they actually pursue their uh, journey rapidly. So yeah, I mean, thank you for bringing up that point, Yashish. Um, so just to move on to the next point, can you throw some light on the changing distribution strategies for insurers in the near term? Particularly from an Indian consumer context. I know you have touched upon a bit of that earlier conversations, but something more focused on the strategy part from an Indian context.
See, as far as strategy, whatever I've been interacting with insurers and all, everybody's push is towards going the tech way for increasing the distribution, the client experience, the distribution partners experience, and far more quicker and hassle-free claim settlement, right? On all of the aspects. But I think one of the key areas, in my opinion, if the insurers are able to touch base on the underwriting pen, which can be digitalized for different personal
Mhm.
and SME lines of business. I'm not sure on the commercial line because Indian market is not yet, in my opinion, completely ready for a commercial line of business to be digitalized, because an underwriter would still want to have a comfort factor in terms of risk management, in terms of risk evaluation, the PML exposures, the hazards, the hazard studies, and so on, and then underwrite it as far as commercial is concerned. Okay. But in terms of retail and SME, if the digital pen is given to the end consumer or to the channel, right, with some basic validations, and we are able to push the sales of the product in a far more effective way, I would see the attachment ratios to definitely shoot up for those two areas as specific. As far as insurers, other strategies which are concerned for increasing the distribution of the products, I would say is that generally, traditionally in an Indian market, you have seen across those 3 pages, 4 pages proposal forms where X number of questions are asked, right? And still, we as a market do require those fact questions to be evaluated by the insurers underwriting desk in certain classes of business. So if through technology, if through AI, if through blockchain, I am able to pre-populate certain underwriting questions, right, which are required by an underwriter to evaluate, and make the job of seeking the answers to the most relevant questions for underwriting from the end consumer, whether it is through a voice. Say, today I book a Zomato food. They have a facility for me to just put my recording into it, and I need not give instructions to the Zomato guy to tell him where he has to come. It's
Mhm.
pre-populated into the system, right? So in a
Right.
similar way, if I have to have a push of the products, right, or I need to have my profile of as an individual consumer being given for multiple underwriting by multiple insurers, some sort of pre-populated data through these advanced technologies, if it can come into the insurers' systems and it gets pre-fetched and pre-populated, I think personal lines of push will happen in a big way. We have tech players who have come up in the market, who do a lot of analyzing of the policies, who keep on suggesting that what are sort of the policies which I have, what are my gaps, and so on, right? But rather than a pro factor, which I would say is even the PSU insurers these days have gone so proactive that in your inbox you have a lot of awareness tips coming in about the nature of your policy and so on. So, Surya, the point which is one of the main reason for Indian markets lowest penetration compared to other markets as far as insurance is concerned is that consumers trust, consumers acceptability, consumers belief that insurance is not an investment, it's my risk management and loss prevention tool. If those factors are being able to demonstrate it to the consumer by his own claim experiences, which he would have come across, or by the larger level of an audience claim experiences and their feedback, I think those factors will go in a very, very big way to push the sales of the consumers, retail or SME lines of products. And it's a KYC, that is know your KYP, okay, the know your policy. If I'm able to do that regularly, I'm able to regularly educate a consumer why he should go for an enhanced cover, why he should go for an add-on, which he has not taken just for a price saving, or he has not been advised by his Insurtech guy or his agent or his direct insurer. Then, if these are the small things which matter a big way for winning the trust of the consumer. So, if this as a journey can be embedded into an existing client policies experiences in form of KYP and in form of EYP, that is educate your policy, and in form of UYP, update your policy. So it's KYP, EUP, and UYP. If these three things are being able to address well by the intermediaries or the consumers, associations which are there in place, or maybe an insurers who are so relevant, who are the underwriters of this, I think we will achieve a radical mindset change for insurance as a product, which has definitely gone up, mind you, in last 18 months during COVID, and 20,000 plus crores of COVID claims, which the industry has handled, itself is a big factor which is getting reflected. I think that is what I would like to say on this point of yours.
No, absolutely. You have also mentioned about educating the consumers. I think one of the major element of this digital era is how effectively consumers will get educated on the purchase of insurance, how to understand policies, what are the various aspect of it, because it should not be taken as a complicated method of purchase, or even something that cannot be trusted, or something just which is just being looked at as a tax saving tool. So I think this aspects will certainly evolve as we emerge with
And
the developing
Surya, one of the
technologies.
compliments to the regulator is in
Yeah.
last few months, they have taken very good steps in terms of standardization of certain retail lines of products, right? In terms of your health, accident, term, travel, and so on, correct?
Hmm.
So there is some sort of a similarity amongst all insurers for people to buy the product, okay? That this is what it is available by insurer A, by insurer B or C. But
Hmm.
there are certain aspects which are so essential, right? Which the Indian market is offering, but unfortunately, it is not known to the consumer side of it, through which they are not being able to take an informed decision to buy the product, and they are delaying it. Today in pandemic, on a voice calls, your underwriting is done for a term cover, right?
Right. Right.
And you can have crores of rupees sum insured sitting at your home. But whether as an industry have we been able to highlight to that? I don't think so. We have a facility of installments allowed by the regulator. What better way to have monthly, quarterly, or half yearly installments being allowed by the regulator for health policies? But are we being able to push that? No. We have long-term health policies which are available in the Indian market for retail lines of 2 and 3 years. Are we able to highlight to a consumer that this will save your follow-up work, this will give you the discount, plus you can have installments in that, so it will not be a financial burden on you? No. Are we able to have some sort of a linkages being highlighted to a consumer that what is your nature of loans, what is your nature of lifestyle, are you the sole earning member, what sort of cover should you have as an investment long term plans
Hmm.
or a long term plans which protect your family in case of something uncertain happening to you? No, I think these aspects is what an Indian mindset consumer is requiring to be given to him to experience. Correct? That today the Suryas and the Yashes of the world sitting in their offices or at home at a click of a button will be able to know everything possible. But does the large India, the larger part of our population are ready for it? Not yet, still.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, that is a very fundamental question you have raised there, Yashish. I think that's something we
We
all must.
it's an experience, Surya. Insurance
Yes.
is all about experience. It's a
True.
digital document which is just in my inbox or on my WhatsApp, or it's a physical document which I've got through a courier and it's lying in my bag. How much am I as a consumer being educated about it for what I am buying it, correct?
True. I
And
think.
this is sort of a thing which is required by the consumer to experience.
Right. Very true. Very true. As you said, the consumer experience part. Again, as we are primarily focusing on the distribution aspect of the insurance value chain, from this standpoint, consumer behavior, of course, as you have correctly mentioned, that it's changing along with the technology and new emerging models are disrupting the industry. So, considering this, what do you think the future holds for the modern insurers and their distribution models? Again, from an
See,
Indian perspective.
yeah, the future for the modern insurers, okay, you have broken it beautifully. What does the future hold for the modern insurers? I think every insurer has to modernize himself. That is the first thing. And I just saw one of the posts of one of the PSU senior divisional manager that you can pay the premium through multiple payment apps for their insurance companies products, which are renewals as well as the new products
Hmm.
which a consumer wants to buy. That is modernization, in my opinion, right?
Right.
The future is that each insurer has to be in alignment with going the tech way for the channel, for the TPS, for the consumers, for the regulator in terms of data reporting and all. And when we say for consumers, the tech has to play a very, very big role in quicker claim settlements, right? The client's confidence levels in claim settlement is the biggest testimonial for them to buy the product of the same insurer or from any other insurer. And once an Indian consumer experiences something which he has not thought of, that he will experience something like that, he will never come back and buy the product, and he will have a mindset that insurance is not for me, right? As far as modern insurers are concerned, right, the new age insurers who have emerged over last so many years, okay, have been a phenomenal success story in my opinion. And the way they have gone about that, they have been paperless documentation, they don't have too much of physical offices, and you have everything available to buy the product at the click of the button. But still, for them also, what would be required is for the larger part of the Indian population, how they make the job simple to buy the product and
Hmm.
experience the product, right? That will remain as one of the key challenges for them as well as for the traditional insurers. And when I mean traditional, it's just not public sector, but even the current private ones. As far as the current private ones or the current public sector insurers which are concerned, they also got to learn from these new age players that how they have made the job that simple for a consumer to buy the product and get his claim settled. If an insurer A or a B can do that, why can't the C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, Ks in an Indian market do that? Is the biggest question they got to ask, right? If an insurer A can underwrite a product in one particular class, why can't the B's to L or K's of the insurance sector in India underwrite a similar product? So that would require a standardization sort of a thing, a broad mindset change that yes, if A can do, then why can't I? And it will require in terms of not looking to premiums which are being charged to the consumer only on an annualized or a long term basis. It can has to be even in terms of a short term risk tenure.
Hmm.
You charge me a 10K for an annual premium. I see that for 3 months I want to cover myself. Allow me a 3 months cover at not 2.5K, at least 3K or 3.5K.
Right. Yep. You know, today's tech savvy customers, and I'm, completely speaking from the insurance distribution point of view, that customers are more and more focused on the ease of purchase nowadays, and
Yes.
they're ready to take a chance even with non-traditional players for insurance. And we are seeing a lot of evolution happening from players like, Paytm, Flipkart, Amazon, both in India and abroad. And they are coming up with life insurance products, and millennials are more keen on buying from them instead of traditional insurers because of the main aspect that's is ease of purchasing. And it's been, one of the report published in 2020 by Capgemini. It shows a clear comparison that 36% of the respondents they surveyed, they said, you know they would always consider purchasing insurance from big tech firms, as compared to 17% of the surveyed respondents who said they would, do the same in 2016. So in a span of around 3.5 to 4 years of time, from 17% the preferences increased to 36%, and we would definitely see that growing eventually even more faster. So there's a clear, you know uh, uh, challenge, or of course as an opportunity also, that how traditional insurers can come up and, match the pace with this big tech firm. Because for the future of the distribution, if you look at assisted distribution, the IoT factor, and how the entry of big tech is happening in all the geographies, it's something that, the stakeholders in the industry must be vigilant about. And this is something would actually shape it in the days to come. What would you
You're
think?
bang on, Surya. In fact, that were my earlier comments also. That when I
Yes.
mentioned that the millennials are the ones who are tech savvy and they love to experience the new age players, right?
Hmm.
Or the untapped, the new emerging players rather. Okay, you mentioned about few of the names like Paytms and Flipkarts and Amazons, where we had never seen 4 or 5 years back any
Hmm.
insurance product also being sold, right? This has emerged last couple of years very actively. Why they have been fairly successful has been because they have made the job very, very simple and with the least number of questions being asked to buy the product, correct?
Hmm.
And what could have gone well as a success story for them, through which this radical change of 16% to 34% in last 4 years, which you spoke about, as per the report of Capgemini, which you are referring of 2020, is that the experience, the simplicity. and the payment modalities to buy the product, and post which the effective delivery of the document into their app or the mobile phone has been in minutes. And
Right.
if you see what could have been the defining would be small ticket products for these players.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be a lakh or a 2 lakh or a 3 lakh or a 5 lakh rupees premium or a 50,000 premium that these players would have aggressively sold. Correct? Today, when I, as a consumer, am selling a product, buying a product, I would want to have, a trust factor, and these big names or the new age tech players I can trust upon because I know and I see them all around me. But when I have to pay a premium, which is a sizable one, I would still, and again I'm reiterating the word, would want some sort of an advisor whom I can reach out to in form of a call, in form of a physical meeting, or in form of any digital meeting whenever the need be, so that they are there for me for claims. And it has to be a consistent, reliable person, right? I come from a insurance family, so my dad takes care of his 40 years old clients and they still talk to him. And the point which you are mentioning is bang
Wow.
on. The millennial are the ones, that is the new generations of my dad's erstwhile clients, are the ones who still say, Uncle, no, I get something on X platform and Y platform at this price. But dad has been saying that you are the ones who have been serving me for so many years and you are the one who is reliable. So I don't mind to do the policy through you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there will be lakhs of people of those sort in India, as far as my dad are concerned, who
Right.
are still the backbone of the Indian insurance market, that is the advisors or the erstwhile development officers of the public sector, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And if we have to have a push of that, again, Surya, I'm reiterating this point, that they need to have that trust, the confidence in the distribution channels which are evolving. They need to have the trust, the confidence in insurance companies that their interests will be protected. Okay. And if this, that is the pioneers and the traditional agency channel of India, along with the hybrid models of tech players, along with the advanced distribution, big channels and big brokers like us, come together and have an ecosystem through which we are able to increase the attachment ratios and the penetration of insurance, I think
Mm-hmm.
the industry will be a far, far, far more beautiful place. While we talk from 2021 to 2023 or 24, and I foresee at least 2.5 to 3x growth in next 3 years as far as insurance is concerned, with the way the risk exposures are increasing for all of us.
No, absolutely. Trust is one of the very, very important point that we, you know, always experience in the insurance industry, in particular. And for today, I think insurance purchase must be just simple and fun. I think that's the two way to, take
And
it
I
around.
completely endorse that. And Surya, one very critical thing is that these different stakeholders in the ecosystem, we need to have representatives from all of them
Right.
meeting on a regular basis and thinking for collectively the growth of the industry to the next level and removing the trust deficit which is there in certain classes of consumers, right? If we can do that
Mm-hmm.
and have some sort of a collective core committee of the representations working upon for the benefit of this industry,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the penetration percentages will shoot to the next level.
True. True. I think that.
And technology, in
Yeah.
line with what you mentioned, along with the mindset which is evolving and changing for the good, will be the defining approach and the defining statement for all of the stakeholders.
No, absolutely. I would definitely, take that point and put it across to our listeners that this would be one of the very, key advice for you all, for the, growth and scalability of your business. So that's a fantastic way of putting it
And
across.
Surya, the consumers also, right? We can
Right.
have consumers also from the corporate world, from the banker world, from the SME world, from the retail world, all coming in together,
Mm-hmm.
okay, in form of representations and
Mm-hmm.
being part of these meetings, right? Including the regulator and the government if they have to step into it. And then we can try to do the needful. I don't see the penetrations going to the next level. Insurance will be the most flourishing industry if these things are being addressed.
Absolutely. Stakeholder engagement is something very, very, very important, not just, at this insurance, I mean, sorry, industry 4.0 age, but even if we look or rewind before how we started the industrialization. Um, Yashish, just with the interest of time, I would just like to say thank you so much. It was a fantastic discussion, and thank you for sharing such wonderful thoughts of yours with respect to all the discussion points we have come across, touching upon very pressing issues in the insurance distribution models and their strategic aspect. It was truly a delight to have you as our guest today.
Thank you, Surya. And I'm sure whatever were my insights have been learned by me over so many years. And I still continue to learn every day and unlearn myself and learn new things. And podcast is one of the platform through which I'm able to communicate to the different stakeholders that, guys, let's come together and take up baby steps, but a very baby steps which are necessary for the growth of the industry and the consumer trust in
True,
our ever flourishing Indian insurance market.
true, true, very true. And lastly, to wrap this up, thank you for listening and see you at our next episode. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye for now.